believe all you talk of how I'm ruining myself, how I need to slow down, or that it's bad for my health.
Let me try some up.
How about I've been on keto and the first thing I wanted to run to was that bread. And that's the crazy thing. Like, if you guys were watching, if you missed it, you can catch it on live or go to the YouTube channel, Gorilla Gang 3421, like and subscribe. But if you saw me, I jumped up, but I looked confused. I was looking for some kind of relief, like real bad. It's like if you ever had to go to the bathroom real bad and you don't know where the bathroom is or something. That's kind of how I felt when I was like, I need something. Like, this ain't going to work. And the thing is, I wanted to hang in there and not, I chewed for the 30 seconds, no problem.
Right.
But
I think you actually went over like 3 or 4.
Waiting 5 minutes for the burn, I couldn't do it, man. I mean, this thing felt, almost crippling in a sense, So, it is what it is. I'm never doing that again.
I'm never doing that again. I just ate like almost a whole pack of bologna just now. But it felt good. Shit, that was nice, cold, and felt good going down.
The one chip challenge, I'll do that. But
I think the problem with the one chip challenge is it like sucks up everything in your mouth and gets into like your pores in your mouth because it's like chips are dry. Chips are not the juiciest thing. But I will say the chip challenge should be no problem. No, the chip challenge I believe is like 2 million Scoville units.
Listen, bro, I don't
Just
feel
did
like
mine.
there's anything that's a problem that's less than that. And you know what's crazy is I was watching a video on YouTube of these guys doing the gummy challenge. And I'm like, man, if they did it, I'm going to do it.
I did the same thing.
But I did do it. However, as far as the 5-minute burnout, man. And the crazy thing is, if I ever done it again based off of the history of us doing the wing sauces and everything, I'd be fine the second time, if history repeats itself, But,
his little toy scooter.
So, it's, I can't explain to you how tough that gummy bear was, man. I go to Buffalo Wild Wings and eat all their hottest sauce, no problem. That gummy bear, nah, I wouldn't.
I mean, we haven't done the Reaper wings.
But if it's Reaper mash, we've done it here.
I don't know what kind of. I know it's Reaper.
But a place that
and it's not a 1 chew done. It would be like 6.
right.
So you're compounding.
But here's the difference though. This got warnings and all kinds of stuff on it, and something happens to you, you can't really, probably sue.
I got cramps.
Sitting in a restaurant, I doubt that they'll make it so hot that it might be hot to the point that it burns, but to the point that it's like this, I doubt it.
I've seen people do the Reaper wings. Mm-hmm. One dude in particular, he did a yeah, I got cramps now. Not only do I got cramps, sorry, I got distracted from the Reaper story.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you now. This is the first time I can say I also feel high.
Feel high?
High, like I have an endorphin rush. Mm-hmm. So, if y'all don't know, when you eat something that's extremely hot, not only does it burn, but it puts your body into a distress that your brain starts to think you're dying, and it sends endorphins throughout your body. And I literally feel like I'm talking outside of my body right now, which how you feel when you're high.
See, it ain't get me that bad. It just got me, like I said, in the mouth. Now, who knows? In a couple minutes or whatever, I might feel the same way.
Oh yeah, I got that ginger ale feeling on the brain. Like everything is now slowing down. Like, are my eyes glassy?
A little bit.
High.
A little bit.
Still would rather get high by eating hot shit than smoke weed, though. But that's just me.
Right.
Forearms are looking kind of. Yeah, that was interesting.
So here's the question: are you gonna make it to the gym?
Yeah, I'll be able to go to the gym. Yeah, if I wasn't gonna go to the gym, I'd have been.
I haven't been to
I went
a gym
4
since,
beers deep instead of going for that milk.
I haven't been to the gym since the pandemic. How is the experience?
I think different gyms are doing different things. Some
are you going right up here?
Yep.
Okay.
Some are a little bit looser with the whole mask thing.
I think you should be though, and this is why. Having that restrictive thing on your face while you're jogging.
So here's the thing.
Okay.
When you're doing cardio, you don't have to wear a mask.
Okay.
So you can only use. So they got an open treadmill and then one that's blocked off and can't use, and then open one blocked off. And you do not have to use face covering if you're doing the exercise bike, the treadmill, the stair mill, the ellipticals, anything like that. You don't have to
just
wear your mask. But when you're lifting, you do. It's a little bit of a pain, and I usually pull it to where my nose is out.
I get the lifting because when you under something that's heavy for you, you really, you know what I mean, and blow and all that stuff. So I get that. I mean, you still breathe while you're jogging and everything, but nobody's directly, you usually got a spotter.
Right. But when you, exactly, but I mean, if you got a spotter, 9 times out of 10, you rode with them and didn't have a mask on anyway. So
yeah,
you're
the person.
Good. Right. But it's not bad. I've been twice at 5 in the morning. I'm going tonight. I'm not sure what it'll be like tonight, how many people, etc.
That one is 24, right? No?
Nope, they close at 10 now.
But they were 24.
Yeah, it was 24. Yeah. So they open at 5, close at 10. I personally think they should be open 24 hours. Because then what you're doing by not having it 24 hours is you're condensing everybody that normally would go overnight. Like I would go, sometimes I'm a terrible sleeper. Like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm up and I can't go back to sleep. I would take my ass to the gym 3, 4 in the morning, no problem.
Shit, 4 in the morning, I'm driving away.
So, I mean, I would do it. I think it's, maybe they're not allowed to because of whatever phase we're in. And speaking of that, it seems like, and I don't, maybe because I don't have cable, but it seems like the death toll is going away, and it's just people being tested and you're positive, you get quarantined. So I don't mean to sound insensitive to anybody who had a family member that passed away or somebody that got extremely sick. But it seems to me like we are at the point where we're in a really bad flu season with the coronavirus.
Well,
and I may be wrong because I don't have news, but I don't, even on Facebook or whatever, I don't see a lot of the death toll from coronavirus is rising, and I know more people are getting diagnosed with it just because testing, I think, has become so readily available. I mean, I drove by Newark High today. They were doing drive-through testing at Newark High. So I know testing is up. So maybe the cases are up.
They've said that some countries have gotten the second wave, which I don't even, really know what that means. You know what I mean? But that they have got their second wave or whatever. But you're right. I haven't heard as much, as far as death tolls. But yeah. As far as cases, yeah, it seems like it's still, a bunch of cases.
It's consistently with cases, but it just doesn't seem to be as many fatal cases. I think people that had obviously pre-existing conditions and other type of things, certainly it affected them differently. But it just seems to be more along the lines of right now, like a really, kind of like a flu season where we had like multiple cases of people with the flu and etc. But I mean, I said it on the last podcast. I wouldn't be surprised if I've had it twice 2 or 3 times already, and it just cycled through, and boom, whatever. I can't recall having a fever or losing sense of taste or having like a nagging cough.
Shit, maybe today.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well, I know I won't get it today. Shit.
No, I said loss of taste. I said maybe today from the...
Nah, because I can taste that milk, man. That milk was fucking amazing.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think, anywhere in the future, do you think that we'll ever get back to the point where we're not wearing masks, walking around?
Yeah, I think so.
I
think, to be honest, I think once it gets cold, people minded the quarantine. People were upset about the quarantine because it was spring and summer and the beach, and I'm not going to be locked down. I don't care what happens. I'm going to the beach. I don't care. What's there to do in wintertime? Sit your ass in the house and
well, there's
curl
some
up.
people who are winter people, like there's beach people, though. You know what I mean? Skiing and everything like that.
Should the world forever be there? I think it will be.
I do too.
I don't necessarily think that it'll be masks, but I think a couple of things. I think everywhere you go will have more sanitization. I think that's the right word. I don't think necessarily the 6 feet thing will be so. I mean, I don't know that it's being enforced now necessarily, but I think people are respecting it. Like, I don't go in Acme or ShopRite or any of the stores I've been in and see like when this first started, there's a guy like standing there saying, "Oh, you gotta stand there. You stand there.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure your mask is on." Like, that has loosened up a little bit, but I think people in general, not those dickhead Trump people that refuse to wear masks and say it's about control. But I think normal people that have some common sense are just being respectful of other people's space and giving them the space, and not even necessarily being because of coronavirus. I think one thing that us, again, people with common sense have just learned throughout this whole thing is to respect somebody else's space and not be all up on them. You're going to get your turn, whether you're in the McDonald's line drive-through or you're standing in line at McDonald's. You're going to get your food, so there's no need for me to be 2 inches away from you. You're going to get there eventually.
Yeah. I think the winter's going to bring a lot of fear, man, because change the season, people are going to get just sick the way they did before.
Common cold.
But I think it's going to freak people out, and I think testing is going to go up even more. Whether or not cases go up, I don't know, but I think testing will go up more, and people, because there's a fear associated with this.
Yeah, I mean, there's a fear associated with everything. I think more people will be more apt to get the flu shot this year, just because we know it'll stop the flu. So
I haven't had the flu shot.
I've never had it
in years.
I'm scared of needles, so I'm not getting the flu shot. And luckily, I work from home. I've always worked from home, so I'm good. Selena's not going to school. The other kids aren't going to school, so my people interaction is fairly limited. So I don't really worry about that. I know I got sick a couple times last year from Selena, but that was also her going to school. So, school. I see why schools are not open for the most part.
Well, every time they've done it, people have gotten sick too. So now you're looking at, possible lawsuits, because in America, the easiest thing to do, it seems like, is to sue. Whether you have a valid case or not. Whether they win is a different story. But I do have an interesting story for you.
Shoot.
No, because you know me, I think you'll get this more than anybody else. So there's this guy that does some substitute driving when one of the drivers takes a vacation day or calls out or whatever. Older gentleman. I don't dislike the guy, but he's weird. And I think I've said in the podcast before, I don't deal well with weird and crazy. So the guy comes over and he stands at the end of my truck while I'm strapping my truck, which is the final step before we take off. I drive a flatbed, okay? And strapping's really important because you don't want nothing to fall off your truck. And I look over and I do a double take. I look the first time to see who it is. I look the second time because I'm like, I don't have the energy for this right now.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, what's happening? And I'm like, hey, how you doing? You know? And he says, where's Tito? Which is the driver that called off.
Mm-hmm.
I said, he took off. I don't know where he is. You know what I mean? I have no idea where he is. And I go back to strapping and the guy walks off. And when he comes back, he says, man, you don't ever look too happy. I said, you're right. I completely agree with you. What did you want me to say? Leave me alone. And the reason why I look like that is because, number one, I don't just meet people and all of a sudden, hey, man, you know.
Bubbly outwardly.
Yeah, it takes a while for me to build a rapport with people typically, you know. And I think because of this, people will think I'm a jerk. It's fair enough. You can think whatever you want about me, but I just don't open up to people right away.
Mike Tyson said, guarded. You can judge me, but that don't mean you understand me.
Right. So, you know, I told, hey, Daryl, what's going on, brother? I told my nephew about it. He was like, man, you hard, man. You. I said, no, I'm not being that. It's just, you know, look, the best thing to do with me personally.
She said, yeah, resting bitch face. We both have it. Like, I have the same thing.
Yeah. But my thing is, if you want to have a conversation, the best way to do it is small talk, man. That's the most normal thing to me.
But then you're asking a dumb question. Like, the dude called out. What makes you think that he would have called me and said, hey, Mark, man, I got diarrhea today. You're like, I'm not coming.
It's like, what? And I just dealt with this guy on Friday. He was like, hey, are you going to show me where my stuff is? I'm like, I have no idea where your stuff is. I have no idea. So he comes back about 10 minutes later. He's like, Mark, they told me you knew where my stuff was. I said, who? And he said they, which I knew right away it was bullshit. Right. So I said, the person you need to go talk to is the person at the computer. He said, I already did. I said, well, what did they tell you? He said, they told me to hold on. I said, then your best bet might be to hold on. What are you expecting from me?
You should have told him to go ask them. Who's them?
You know,
same people as they.
I didn't even, yeah, but I didn't think of it because I was already annoyed. You know,
yeah, but you gotta have fun with it and play like.
Well, I had fun.
Who told you that? They. Oh, well, go ask them.
Well,
who them?
I have
same
fun.
People as they.
I had fun with it, but he said, "Hey, man, you never look happy." I said, "You know what? You're absolutely right. I agree with you."
We did, Mandy.
Oh, Mandy, you missed it. Mandy, it's by far the worst thing that we both agree. It's the worst thing we've ever ate here on the podcast, and we're not going to do it ever again. So if you want to relive it, look at our live Gorilla Gang 3421. That's the YouTube channel because we're not doing it again.
Yeah, so I mean, I had the same experience today. I had a team meeting with my team at work, and the icebreaker was, what's one thing that people think about you?
Probably
people wouldn't know about you. I did my best. I lost my breath a couple times.
I thought I was alright. I chewed it and everything. I just couldn't wait to.
My stomach is lit right now. What are you talking about? Gonna be? It is.
See, my stomach's not killing me.
It'll get there.
Everything is normal right now, at least.
But yeah, so at least half of my team said the same thing. People always think that I'm angry because of the way my face is, and I get that all the time. Mm-hmm. I get that from Selena. Like, I'll be driving somewhere, and Selena's like, "Why you make that face, Dad?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Why are you making the mad face?" And I'm like, "I don't know." And just most of the time, it's because the sun is bright, and I'm just like, that's the way. I don't know, but I'm never mad though.
But you know what's crazy is when we're together, when we're hanging out, it's never really a mad face. And you might have a moment where your face is serious, and we'll be talking, and I might say something that makes you smile or giggle or whatever. So I never really get that from you. But I also know you. It's the people who don't know us that really are kind of concerned about that. Like, oh, you know, what's going on?
It's their outward perception. She said you jumped over. Because I even doing interviews. So I know I've interviewed for a couple like promotions at work, and when nobody knows you, all they see is this big, kind of scary looking.
Oh. Jose, you know me better than that now at this point, though. So you know my face is just my face. It ain't you know, it ain't nothing scary to you personally.
Yeah. So I mean, I always get that, and then you know you try to smile through it, and then they're like, "Oh, this dude didn't even take the interview seriously." Like I can't win for losing. Either I'm angry or I'm not taking it seriously. Like make up your mind. But it is what it is. Talk about Ruth Bader Ginsburg for a little bit.
Oh yeah, I don't even know that whole story.
So Ruth Bader Ginsburg is one of the 7 Supreme Court justices. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So yeah, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, one of the I think there's 9 Supreme Court justices. Okay. Right. So as a general rule, they're the final word for anything, any appeal that goes up in the court. They have literally the final say. Right. What they say goes. The election that Trump won prior to Obama leaving, one of the Supreme Court justices retired. And what that means, it's a position for life. Right. So it's either life or death. That's the only way you can get out of it, or obviously retire. Right. But so one of them retired. He nominated this dude, Merrick Garland, to replace that person, which basically you get liberal judges, you get conservative judges, Democrat, Republican. So Mitch McConnell, who's the leader of the Senate, because the Senate, the Republicans have the majority in the Senate. So they have hearings, and then they vote to confirm the new Supreme Court justice that Obama had nominated. So the leader of the Senate refused to have hearings, refused to take a vote to replace this Supreme Court justice until after the election. Said it's not fair. The American people should decide who they want to be the next Supreme Court justice. But it's never been the American people to decide, though. But so he was basing it on if they voted for Hillary, then it obviously would have been a Democratic nomination. If Trump won, it would have been Republican. And most Republicans, to be honest, they don't support Trump. They want these judges in place, these 4 life judges, so they can essentially have the final say, like on making abortion illegal again, whatever the case may be. Right. Mainly it's the abortion argument that they want. But there's a lot of other things. So Ruth Bader Ginsburg was the liberal or Democratic, one of the liberal Democratic people because again, they basically stole that nomination that Barack had nominated. He would have been confirmed as the judge and been for life. Okay. So instead they waited for Trump. Trump obviously nominated a conservative judge, so it swayed the Republican side of things. And then there was another dude that resigned who was conservative, and they replaced him with a conservative judge. So now if they do another one, then it's like, I believe 6-3 conservatives versus liberals. Okay. And obviously the conservatives are going to win every single time. So it's super important that you kind of throw it back in their faces that, hey, we were in this same exact situation 4 years ago, right? When y'all refused to vote on the Democratic or liberal judge, but now you're rushing, like they're rushing to get some conservative in there because, again, they're petrified that Trump is going to lose, or at least nervous enough that they need to get this judge in because it'll be a judge for life.
Nervous enough that he's snatching up mailboxes.
Which will skew it really, really horribly towards the conservatives. I think it's John something is the Supreme Court justice, Clarence Thomas, Neil Gorsuch, and then whatever that one dude that got on and was accused of rape by a bunch of people, and cried at his hearings because they were questioning him too hard. They had pulled up pictures of him like from high school and all that stuff. Still a little high from that.
Right.
If you can't tell, words are struggling. But yeah, so Ruth Bader Ginsburg died. Luckily, as of right now, 2 of the Republican senators who they need, 2 of the Republican senators who they need to have in order to vote to confirm a new Supreme Court justice have already said they're not going to vote. They refuse to it would be hypocrisy for them to basically do what they said the last time. They made all these excuses and reasons why they wouldn't accept Obama's nominee. So now it's literally reversed. Like, there's senators that said, I wouldn't vote for a new Supreme Court justice in an election year if it was a Republican. So we'll see how many of them hold to their word. As I said before, hopefully the Democrats flip the House, which is more, or flip the Senate, which to me is more important than whether or not Trump gets reelected. Because then you have those 2 branches that'll control what goes on, not Trump. And he'll be, like I said, he'll be impeached 3 days after he gets reelected, if he gets reelected, which I don't think he will.
I don't know if they will, man. It's been enough. I mean, without digging too deep in it, to me, it's already been enough where they could have done that, you know.
But they can't, because the House can impeach him and the Senate removes him. But like I said, the Senate is Republican, so they're not ever going to remove a Republican president. It's just not going to happen. So we'll see.
Jose, you missed the 9 million Scoville unit gummy bear that we ate. It was absolutely freaking terrible.
Hopefully they get their shit together and give us another stimulus check. I didn't need the first one, but damn if I won't take another one this time.
You think it's going to happen the second one?
I think the Supreme Court thing is just overtaking everything, and Republicans are going to try to use that, say, well, if you're not going to vote for the Democratic nominee, we're not going to vote for the stimulus, and vice versa. We're not going to vote for so again, it becomes more about,
it's not about the people. It never has been
tribal than it is about helping people out. I think we only got that stimulus so that the first one, so that it could look
what I've done for you.
Good for it could look good for, because as soon as we got the stimulus, it was like, okay, open everything back up, go spend that money.
Yeah.
So I think it was more to help the economy and make them look good than it had anything to do with helping the American people. Because we talked about it here. There was countries that were getting stimuluses every month.
Yeah.
We got one that's $1,200.
Right.
Is half of people's pay for most, and some people don't even make that a month. But it wasn't, for people who really needed it, it wasn't helpful. Like it was helpful, but it wasn't. It was like, okay, so I still can't work. You gave me money last month. What am I supposed to do now? And that's been going on since April when we got it. Okay. So I think it was literally just done to force that money right back into the economy, and that's about it. So I don't anticipate that we'll get one. I haven't heard it mentioned. I haven't seen it mentioned that they're voting, they're working on it. Like I said, the simplest thing to do, Democrats wanted to throw a whole bunch of little underlying shit in there. Republicans wanted to throw, it was just give people the money. Y'all work that shit out on your own. Stop trying to manipulate terms